It's December the 2nd, 2025, and I'm just heading off up Priory Hill. Behind me you can see the walls of the old priory and the tower of the cathedral and so on. The reason that I'm heading up to the cathedral is that behind there are some woodlands called the Priory Grove, and they are well worth a visit for reasons that will become clear as I go along. Right, this is Brecon Cathedral, which as you can see is well worth looking at if, like me, you're a fan of cathedrals, that is. It's old, but almost certainly this area is much older. The graveyard you can see here, the churchyard, is circular rather than more usual rectangular, which suggests to some that this was actually a Celtic site. In other words, there was a church here hundreds of years before the Norman conquest. I'm going to be walking to that gate at the end of this little avenue, which leads on to the Priory Groves. This used to be a monastery. The Priory Groves are some woodlands which stretch right out of Brecon, right into the countryside, and they are the most extraordinary place. Well, you'll see as I go along, there's so much to look at there, and parts of it actually remind me more of Switzerland than this country. What I love about this area is that we're only 10 minutes or so from the cathedral here. You can probably hear the river beneath. It's been raining a lot lately. I'm looking down into what is essentially a ravine. You can see the river flowing there. It's extraordinary. 10 minutes ago I was in the middle of town at the cathedral, and now I'm in a fairly wild area with at the top of a sharp ravine leading down to a raging torrent. This is yet another reason why I love Brecon, of course. Look at all these trees. And as I say, down there, you can probably hear it actually, is the river, River Honthie. I don't know if any viewers have ever been to British Columbia, on the western side of Canada, but I have to say that this area reminds me very much of that. You wouldn't be surprised to come across a logging camp just up the river a little. And all this a short walk from the middle of Brecon. Those that choose to remain living in London must be a right bunch of chumps, honestly. Well, I said the last section reminded me of British Columbia. This part puts me more in mind of Austria or Switzerland. Look at that little group of houses just nestled there in the valley by the river. It's as peaceful a scene as you could hope to find anywhere. This is what I love about the Priory Groves. It's got so much character, so many different characters. Every time I come up here I find something new to be amazed at. Then too there are little waterfalls like this. This hasn't been set up as an ornamental grotto or anything of that kind, you know. This is simply the way it is here. It's been raining a lot, and so we've got a miniature waterfall formed. I don't know of anywhere, whether in Brecon or anywhere else in the country, that has so much variety and so many different types of landscape in such a small place. Isn't this beautiful? And of course utterly peaceful, because there's nobody at all here. That's where the stream from the waterfall flows down to that little, it's almost, whether you'd call it a hamlet or not, I don't know. It's a collection of buildings, at any rate, just nestled there alongside the river. There now, a pretty little bridge that is. Well, this is pretty much the end. I'm going to go across that bridge, and that way I can get back onto the Struit, which will lead me back into town. But I just thought it might be worth viewers seeing what an extraordinary place this is. There really is nothing quite like the Priory Groves that I've ever seen, and anybody that visits Brecon would be well advised to take a stroll along them. It's December, which is not always the best time, but it's certainly a time when you can be fairly sure that you won't bump into anybody else, which for me is an absolute bonus. I couldn't resist filming this other waterfall that I've just come across. It's as lush and verdant here as a rainforest, which in effect, in this part of the world, I suppose this is a type of rainforest. See? Beautiful, no?